Good morning, everybody. John Chester, Operations, California Incident Management Team 5. Today is Sunday, May 29th, 2022, and we'll just kind of get started with an update of the current situation of the South Zone. So, continuing to do work over here in the Big Pine, Calf Canyon, Young Canyon areas. Fire is, there was a big unburned area, Green Island in there, and that island kicked up a few days ago, and it is kind of backing down towards some structures in there. We have folks in there, and they're continuing to do prep around the structures and allow that fire to burn down into more favorable ground so that they can hold it and protect those structures in that community up there in Young's Canyon and Calf Canyon in the Big Pine community up there. So that work is ongoing today. Having real good success up there with that, and so continue to do that. As we move to the east there in Division Alpha, Bravo, the calls for service have been minimal in there. We'll still pick up a few, folks calling in. The smokes that are interior, we investigate those and verify that they are interior and that it's safe for those to either continue to burn out, or we'll go in and take action on those and suppress them to reduce those call volumes. Also up here in the Alpha Bravo area of the division here on the eastern side of the fire, we have what we call a repair group that is being implemented over there. And so in the repair group, what those folks do is they come in and they try to return some of the areas where suppression efforts had occurred. And as an example, when we push a dozer line through the vegetation down to the mineral soil where it's a good fire break, whether that, and typically, for this stage of it here, it might be some of those interior ones that are where fire had burned over it and they didn't work. What we do is we go in there and we try to return that. We try to replace some of the vegetative cover over those areas where the dozer may have pushed through and exposed the mineral soil to reduce or help eliminate or control the erosion factor in there from water, wind, and the stuff that's just blowing across there. So that work is beginning. We'll be repairing, fences, hand lines, that kind of stuff that may have been damaged in those in the suppression effort. So that is work that is primarily done to help fix the suppression action cause. Like I said, dozer lines, hand lines, that sort of thing. So that work is beginning and will be ongoing in the Alpha Bravo division on the eastern side of the fire. As we come down, we turn the corner and we start progressing to the west, Boreas Peak area. The fire continuing to make really good progress, mopping those up. The fire line edge here, so that's a combination of dozer line, roads, and hand lines that have created this boundary or the containment line around from Boreas Peak over just north of Lower Colonias and then Upper Colonias there. So those divisions, what we call Charlie, Delta, and Echo. The work has continued in there. We've made it through a couple days of really critical fire weather, and even through those, it's helped to a certain extent with the fuels consuming, so they're burning up 100%, and they just kind of leave that pile of ash, and it makes the mop up easier. So that work is continuing and ongoing in there, and we will continue to strengthen and reinforce those lines, getting greater depth on that. And the hopes for that is so that we can start maybe opening up some of the communities to the west of there when we get that good solid black line around this piece down here. As we move up, there's still working on some containment lines coming up to the Skyline Ridge area, and then progressing further to the north as you're coming up to Elk Mountain. Part of the heavy volumes of smoke that you're seeing is coming out of the Spring Mountain area. That is our containment lines are offset from those. That's some steep, rugged country in there, and for the safety of firefighters, we've held off on putting people in there so that fire up there is moving about a little more freely without direct containment lines right on the edge of it. And so you'll see in that's where some of the fire growth has occurred over the last couple of days, 600 to I think 1,000 acres in that area. So that that stuff is still moving around. What we're doing is we've backed off and are putting in containment lines, what we call indirect, and allowing that to move through there into a more advantageous area where we can contain it and do what we need to do to keep that from progressing further to the west. On up to the Hamilton Mesa. The work is continuing to develop the containment lines, control lines, and also scouting for additional options up there as a contingency to our primary control lines that we'll be putting in. So that's kind of the operational update, and then just to kind of go back and rehash a few things. We still have folks over here in the communities of Holy Ghost, the Pecos Canyon or Valley there. They're continuing to assess structures, increase the defensible space in those neighborhoods and in those communities for the residences and the houses in there. We're continuing to answer, like I said, any calls for service in the areas out here where we've got good black line on the map. With those folks, they're helping out other areas. And then. Additionally, we are still in critical fire weather conditions with really low RHs, very high winds. And to touch on that, a couple days ago, you guys probably potentially seen the aircraft that was flying out of the Las Vegas helibase, heavy helicopters, water droppers, we call them, to put water on the fire from an aerial standpoint, an aerial attack. And so with the high winds, those helicopters are not able to fly safely and to perform that mission. So when we get into these high wind conditions, you're likely to see less of those. We do have them up this morning early to do some support work, whether it's water dropping or delivering critical cargo to our firefighters on the ground who are in those more remote areas. And lastly, I think I just want to pass on the appreciation and thanks to the folks in the community who, when you see the firefighters, are thanking them for their work. Many of these folks have come from many different geographical areas, long distances traveled to come here to help support you guys in your time of need on the Calf Canyon incident, Hermits Peak incident. So we appreciate hearing those kind words. We're thankful for you guys as you support us in helping to contain this fire and hopefully get you guys back in a timely fashion into your homes and into the places that you've been displaced from. So we appreciate that. We thank you for that, and continue to ask questions, call in the things you see, the smokes, so we can investigate those and make sure that things are still holding within the area that we would like them to be. So with that will conclude our update for today. Continue to submit your questions and comments. Thank you.